Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this video are those of my own and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any other person or group of people. They do not purport to reflect the opinions or views of any group of people, person, or fanbase or its members. This video and the presentation of material therein do not imply the expression of any opinion other than mine.
Hello and welcome to this video. Hope everyone out there is doing good, doing fine, having fun, and enjoying life. Today we are going to be looking at part 3 of episode 6, season 1 of the Rabbits Podcast, Strange Attractors. Sorry about that. So, without further ado, let's get on into this thing.
It was the swimming pool.
What happened? The swimming pool.
My brother was the only one who said he believed me, but I'm not sure he actually did.
Okay. Can you tell me what happened? Please.
I was walking with my father down to the public swimming pool on the other side of town. Our neighborhood pool had been drained, so my father took me to this other one. I was 9 years old. I remember holding his hand, and I remember holding my other hand up to my eyes to block out the late afternoon sun. The pool was packed full of families playing together, laughing, splashing. Some song by the Beach Boys or somebody else played from speakers somewhere. We were about halfway down the hill when I saw the lifeguard. He was tall, hunched over, with dark curly hair.
What was he doing?
Well, he'd stepped down from his chair and he slowly approached the edge of the pool.
Yeah, this particular section is kind of eerie, for lack of a better term.
After looking at the kids in the pool for a moment, he turned back and picked something up from a small case beneath the base of the ladder leading up to his chair. Something that appeared to be a pair of scuba tanks. He slipped the tanks onto his back and pulled out a hose that was connected to the apparatus. And that's when he started spraying the pool, like he was treating it somehow. There were dozens of children in the pool, splashing and having fun. After spraying the pool, the lifeguard pulled something out of his pocket, turned his head, and looked right into my eyes. I could see him.
Yeah, that's always creepy when something like that, when somebody looks at you like that, that's just always creepy.
All of the calm, pure hate as he held up the thing he pulled from his pocket. It was a Zippo lighter. He stared at me for a long moment before he turned back to the pool. At this point, I noticed the families in the pool were no longer having fun. They were confused and panicky. At this point, the lifeguard sparked the Zippo and tossed it into the pool. As the flames engulfed the top of the water, my father turned to me and yelled, "Don't look, Carly," before he ran down the hill toward the pool, the lifeguard, and the screaming. I can still hear the sounds.
Yeah, That would do a number on my psyche, I think. Actually, I know it would do something to my psyche to witness something like that at an early age. Well, hell, even at my age, I think that would do something to my psyche.
That's terrible.
I don't remember anything after that. Well, the next thing I remember, we were at home. I was exhausted, so I went up to my room and fell asleep. The next day, I couldn't understand why nobody was talking about it. I wanted to know if the lifeguard had been arrested and what had happened to those families in the pool, to those children, but nobody was talking about it. I assumed that the horrific nature of that spectacle was just too awful for adults, or anyone, to talk about so soon. So, I decided I wouldn't talk about it right away either. And that was hard.
A lot of things like that. Working as a correction officer, there are things that I saw that I have to this day trouble articulating because human's gonna human.
It was all I could think about. All I could see when I closed my eyes. I didn't sleep. I cried a lot, out of nowhere. I did eventually bring it up with my parents, and they told me to stop making things up. I screamed at them. I told them it was real.
Now, at this point in the story, you have to wonder, is this a Mandela effect slip between worlds? Did it really happen? Is just being covered up? Or did Carly have a psychotic break? Do we know? Will we find out?
I told them to take me back to the pool, but my father told me he'd never taken me to a pool other than the one near our house. I snapped. I started banging my head against the walls, constantly, holding my breath until I passed out. I was a mess. I was institutionalized shortly after. And that was that.
Yeah, you has to make you wonder, though, with the lore that, the lore of this world, the rules of this universe, you're not really sure. Even when you get the answer, you're not even sure if that's the right or proper answer. So, it is what it is.
The incident at the pool didn't happen. I made it up.
Do you believe you made it up?
You know, I looked it up. At least once a year. Usually more. I went to libraries. I checked online. It looked like my parents and everybody else was right. The world of newspapers and microfiche told me that this thing that I remember so clearly never happened.
Do you believe it happened?
It happened.
Now, something else, just kind of on a tangent, that is kind of within the lore of this particular universe, is maybe it was put on for her to see, and once she saw what she needed to see, everything was covered up. So, just something else to think about.
I know it happened. I don't know why my father acted like it didn't. It was as if he'd wiped it from his mind completely.
Or was it the fact that this iteration of your father, it didn't happen for him?
but it's something that I'll never forget. I always imagined a conspiracy of some kind, or that the reports had just been lost somehow, but they were out there somewhere and I just hadn't found them yet.
And you're sure this happened?
I'm positive.
You can tell by the music that Carly is probably telling the truth from a certain point of view.
You know, they say children often create false memories to cover other trauma.
This isn't that.
In false memory syndrome, one of these memories can considerably influence a person's life.
It happened. It's the sound that I'll never forget. The screaming. I remember thinking, even as a kid, that sound existing in the world changed something. Changed the world forever.
And see, here's another thing too. If this was, say, a Mandela effect slip from world to world, who says that anyone that may have slipped with her didn't retain their memories? That when they coalesced in the new world, the memories and events in the new room also coalesced in them. And for whatever reason, Carly retained her memories. So just putting it out there.
The very fact of that sound's existence. It's okay if you don't believe me.
I believe you.
Why?
Because something similar happened to me.
What happened?
Something they told me didn't happen. See, I was also sent away for something I believed that the rest of the world didn't.
What was it?
I'll tell you about it soon, I promise. Just not now.
One of the things I've always wondered about this particular bit, even the first time I listened to it, is he not telling her because emotionally he's not prepared or ready to tell it? Or is he not telling her because she's not ready to hear it? You know, it's just some of those things that happen that you got with everything going on from all directions, just things you need to keep in mind.
So, Jones experienced something similar. A perfectly clear memory of an event that others say didn't happen. He told me he was going to tell me about it later. You can bet that I'm not going to let him forget that promise. In other news, he'd been listening to the Marigold tapes nonstop. He brought one along with him.
Okay, this is probably gonna sound more than a little crazy. At first.
I think I'm getting used to crazy.
Okay.
Up next on Weekend Theater, we're going to look into how one young woman can find her missing friend. Parker's friend has gone missing, and she's going to have to solve a handful of mysteries to find her. If you enjoy solving puzzles and playing games, tune in to the You and Me Company right after this brief message from our sponsors.
Now that Carly would probably, or I know if it was me, if some old forgotten 20, 30-year-old radio broadcast named me by name and the exact situation I was in, I would probably freak out a lot. I mean, immensely a lot.
What was that?
That was strange.
Jones, if this is some kind of a joke or something, it isn't funny.
It's nothing like that. Listen to the first commercial.
You spend a lot of time at home. Your home is your castle. That's why you should protect it with Lighthouse Security. For peace of mind and safety, come to the Lighthouse. Lighthouse Security.
There's the whole lighthouse thing. How many steps?
Protect your piece of the world and protect your peace of mind. Come to the Lighthouse.
A woman named Parker. A mystery. Games. Puzzles. The lighthouse.
It's a pretty wild coincidence.
You and me company. You, me, co. Has to be Yumiko.
This recording is decades old.
So, maybe it's a fake.
I've had it authenticated.
But that's not 100%, right?
I suppose not 100%, but these guys are pretty good at this stuff. They do some contract work for the NSA.
We need to look into the Lighthouse Security Company.
There's something else.
What? Jones pulled out his computer and opened a Tor browser.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of dicey. I mean, it's been dicey all the first 5 episodes, and it's still dicey, and it's getting more dicey. So, it is what it is.
Once on the darknet, he showed me a website, an invitation-only forum on internet mysteries and conspiracies. He'd posted something last week in a section called Ask Me Anything About Mysteries Anytime. AMAMA. His question was simple. My friend's friend has gone missing playing 9. Any help? He received a reply in 30 seconds. Marigold, 4564.1234. Somebody knows we're looking into the Marigold recordings?
That's not unusual if you're playing rabbits.
But something's unusual.
Because if it wasn't unusual, our boy Jones would not be bringing it to our attention.
Yes.
What?
4564.
What about it?
April 5th, 1964.
And 1234?
1234.
I don't get it.
The Marigold recording I just played you was from April 5th, 1964, at exactly 34 minutes past noon.
Either somebody had gone to a whole lot of trouble to reverse engineer a clue to my present situation that matched a radio broadcast from the 60s, Jones was messing with me in a serious way, or I can't even begin to consider the third possibility. Can I?
She probably should consider this third possibility.
That somehow Jones asked a question in the present, and we received an answer from the past.
A little bit of time travel there, kids.
It's rabbits. I'm Carly Parker. We'll be back again in 2 weeks. Until next time, stay safe.
I would like to thank everyone for watching, commenting, subscribing to these channel videos, what have you. I appreciate it. So it's beginning to get a little like crazy. So I'll let you guys have that bumping around your brain for a minute or 5 or longer. So until next time, Peace.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?